You're doing intros?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Talking Sports. Joined alongside my colleague Stephen Ingber. We like to call him Steve-O here on the program. We're going to talk about the latest weeks in sports and what has gone on. I'd like to jump right in with Michigan basketball.
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago, last time we talked, we're 9-9, talking about a possible, maybe a little run in the Big Ten. We were 7-1 at home.
We were looking at those two games. I believe it was Minnesota and then.
Well, we had Northwestern, right? Minnesota, Purdue, both on the road, tough games.
Lost them both.
Went to Minnesota, played a tight game. Bullock showed that he could play in the NBA.
Yeah.
He showed he could play in the NBA.
I bet you he'll be a lottery pick, right around the 10 to 15 mark.
Well, I don't know if he's good as a lottery pick. He's a little short. He needs to hold off, but it definitely showed that he could play in the NBA in that Minnesota game. But the team did come up short.
Yeah.
And then we went to Purdue, and Purdue was slumping, and our other colleagues who we've noticed aren't here for good reason said, Purdue's not playing well. We're going to go in there. We're going to steal one for them. We can't win on the road. Team can't win on the road. No. We're now 10-15. Yeah. We're on the outside, on the far outside, looking in.
We are so far out. Postseason's gone. Gone after the loss to Ohio State.
The only chance that this team has is to win the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
Win the Big Ten tournament. It's the only chance this team has. And we're not even looking at an NIT bid without going 500.
No, we got to run the table to even get in the NIT.
But I'd like to start talking about the Northwestern game last week. Northwestern game last week, the team almost got shut out. Scored 34 points in 2 halves of basketball. How does a team do that? How does a team go to Northwestern, a team that this team has dominated? Yes, they have Evan Eschmeyer, who's been an excellent player for the last few years, probably one of the best 5 players in the country, but they had nobody else. They have no one who can stop Lewis Bulk. They should have no one who can stop our perimeter players. Yet we go in there, and we only score 34 points.
I mean, we just didn't show up. There was nobody there playing inside, outside. There's no one anywhere, so I mean, you can't score. If you can't score inside, you can't score outside, you can't win the game. Basically,
I agree.
Nothing
and then it's very Jekyll and Hyde, because then the weekend comes. We have a big game on CBS, a 1 o'clock game versus Minnesota, and we're up by 20 with 10 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
How does a team do do that?
I think it's.
Look who just walked into the studio.
Can we get a David Silver sighting?
we like to
readjust.
We were outside, we were talking to some football players, they were arguing I stole their parking spot, this is University of Michigan, things happen. But I do have to, listening to the Evan Eschmeyer talk, I did watch my first basketball game of the season, 10-15, it's a little disappointing. Although I thought someone would say we're going to be about 500 by now. I forgot which one of my co-hosts was predicting that.
I did. There was we had a rough run. I thought after some big wins, after we were 7-1 at home. That was the time of our last show. I thought we were turning things around. We looked like what we started off looking as a spoiler. Just we weren't going to do anything great, but we were just enough to throw somebody off. I
mean, we threw Minnesota off their game. We gave them a good run on their court. We beat them here. We played an excellent game. Bullock was the man, had 27, and then he comes out yesterday against Ohio State, a team that we beat already. Yeah. 3 for 12 from the field. Josh Aslin's been playing excellent. Let's talk about him for a second, because he gets overshadowed by Bullock and by these other guys, but he's really. I remember last year he would be underneath and he was getting thrown around.
Yeah, he beefed up in the offseason when we took our field trip to Chrysler Arena and saw practice. He's clearly bigger than he was. He looks stronger. He looks more on his game.
We all do apologize if you are watching that show that we did not recognize you for that first show at Chrysler.
Yeah.
I think 3 for 3, we all recognize you now. Another complimentary player having a great season.
He's playing very well, young. He's like where Josh Ashlin was last year.
Yeah.
He's getting pushed around. He doesn't really understand what Big Ten basketball is all about, but he's working on it. That's fine. Josh Ashlin he's been all over the boards. He's been playing well, and he Granted, he's not 6'11", he's not blocking shots all over the place, but he's playing much better than I think people expected.
Well, if you look at Peter Vignier, who, as of last week, was leading the Big Ten in offensive rebounds.
Yeah, so he's getting rebounds a game.
Well, you have to understand that when you're missing layups, it's very easy to get your own offensive rebound.
I want to talk about Aston for a second. There are times you see this guy dunk a ball from a Robbie Reed pass, like a monster dunk, and you're looking like, wow, he's coming to his own.
And then the next play, misses the layup,
You can't rebound, you can't box out.
Yeah, he's very streaky.
He does not have a move where you can seal him down in the box and he can't hit a fadeaway jumper. He can't make a move. But we're not asking him to.
But did you see Veneer throw that little hook shot nowadays. What is up with the baby hook?
trying to go back
It was going in against Minnesota, and then Evan Eschmeyer threw into the cheap seats. So
Dickie Vitale called Evan Eschmeyer the best, most improved player. What's he playing? His 6th, 7th season now?
Yeah.
Here's another guy who's playing like, yeah.
he's 26 years old. He's the only person in college basketball older than Robbie Reed.
Let's say, him and Robbie Reed are buying everyone beer on the basketball team.
Yeah.
However, Eschmeyer was rated as one of the 5 best players in the country, an All-American, ahead of Langdon, made the team ahead of Langdon, made the team ahead of...
I don't like him that much.
No, hey, you know what? Made the team ahead of guys that you would go out and think, one of the top 5 people in the country in the midseason report. A lot of people don't think about him because he has absolutely no help, but look for him to be, an excellent player on the next level.
Well, I'm waiting. I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to the Big Ten tournament now because we're not going.
That's our only chance.
We're not going
that's what we said before you got. Yeah.
I mean,
that's the only chance we got.
But I mean, I personally don't think we have a shot at winning. You can't win when you have 3-4 guys. I think Brandon Smith's averaging 27 minutes. The backcourts, each guy's averaging over 30. You're not going to win 3 games in a row, 3 days in a row with the guys playing that many minutes.
I agree, but
let's be honest, Ron Oliver ain't coming in to help this team.
No, but we could be the team that in the first or second rounds of the tournament, if Ohio State or Minnesota needs to win one or 2 more to be a shoo-in for the NCAAs, we could go out and beat them and then lose to a Michigan State or lose to a Purdue. But I could see us go beating an Ohio State, a Minnesota on a neutral court when they might need a victory.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think that goes to Ellerby's coaching. I don't understand how we are this bad away from home and how we can play this well at home. That goes to coaching. There's got to be something different that's doing this. I mean, teams, you just don't play this well at home and this bad away from home.
You do play better at home, but you're right. There should not be this 7-1, 1-8.
Scoring 80 points at home and scoring 34 points on the road.
I don't think we've won a Big Ten game away from home yet this year. Someone correct me if I'm
No,
wrong.
I can't remember one. Maybe we couldn't even beat Illinois, who is the
loneliest of the loneliest down there in the basement.
who's the soul of the foot
They
soul
got, I
of the
believe,
Big
just
Ten.
one win, just the win over us in the Big
Just
Ten.
against us.
That's
They were, they were 0-7 coming into our.
So right now, I think that has us playing Purdue in the Big Ten tournament.
Could be, yeah.
Because right now, Michigan State's finally looking to click.
What about Penn State? They're way down.
No,
there.
see, I don't think it's going to be like that.
taking a couple of
Because in the
games
Big
off.
Ten tournament, you have to remember there are 11 teams. So there's play-in games. There's those kind of rounds before the round
We were
game.
good last year, so I don't remember how it worked last year.
Yeah.
So, you get like
We
the...
had upper echelon.
you're going to get the 8th team, which might be us playing against the 11th team. So we might get Illinois in the first round to draw Michigan State.
Well, someone tell me this. Gerard Ward, was he drafted?
I believe
yes,
he's
but I
in
believe
Europe.
He's in Europe.
Well, I believe he's on campus today, so Gerard, if you are watching again, hello, how are you? I believe, we saw the Mercedes convertible with the Ward license plate and
I would have
big
to say that
man
he's
in the
back.
front seat.
Well, Gerard Ward has been in every Michigan basketball game this year. He does have his own reserve seat on press row.
As was the tractor until the NBA got back in here.
Well, I kinda miss Grandma
Speaking of the
Tractor.
tractor, has anyone seen any numbers of the tractor and how he's
I
doing in the
haven't seen any
NBA?
highlights of it.
I have not
seen highlights, but I did see Ray Allen signed the contract today.
Yeah.
Milwaukee. Very happy that isn't that what Tractor is nowadays? It's in Milwaukee. Someone back me up there.
Dallas or
I
Milwaukee?
thought he was in Dallas.
Yeah, you could be in Dallas.
You know what? I don't. Tractor, if you're out there, we're looking for you on Sports
We
Center.
haven't found you yet. But yeah, I mean,
We're looking for you to make a name in the NBA, and you're just not.
it's funny because
That's
Ray Allen. Ray Allen signed a contract today with like the other 6 guys in his class for the $70.9
Yeah,
million.
with that you
The
get
Kobe
out-
Bryant,
With everyone, they all signed the same exact contract, exactly as much as you can sign.
10 years, 71 million or something?
Yep,
No, 7 years.
7 years,
Did you get
7
the
million.
you got the
$70.9 million,
3-year,
yeah.
Right.
$4 million contract, three-year, $4 to $5 million contract. Then you get the next 3 for 70.
But
The
Ray
next 7
Allen
for 70.
did it without an agent, and George Karl said, it's fun to go in there a contract, make yourself a multi-millionaire. You're going to see a lot of these guys start doing this without agents now.
Why is that? Because the
It's-
deal.
It's such a standard. It's such.
All these
they're
guys
not
signed the
bargaining.
same exact contract.
Yeah.
Iverson, Kobe, Abdul Rahim
Kobe doesn't even
Sharif.
start, and they're paying him $70 million.
Kobe Bryant still doesn't start? He's the best player on the team.
Okay, wait,
He's had-
okay, I'm not a fan of Detroit, though. Tyson Beal, who?
Tyson Deli.
Bison Deli? Come on, what's going on here?
So he's no good, but our
No.
reserves.
No.
What's his real name?
Brian Williams.
Exactly.
Can we call him by that, please?
No. Do we call him Lou Alcindor? No. You get the name that he gives you. That's his name. That's what we're gonna go by.
Okay, but I mean, come
Pistons 3-1.
Okay, Knicks,
Sprewell.
0-2. Who's going further in the playoffs?
Sprewell's out for 4 or 5 weeks right now.
Sprewell's not gonna be playing.
Oh, because he was really doing a heck of a lot for us so far.
He did have 24 on opening night
And we lost.
played very well. I don't see Patrick Ewing in this short, I see in a full season, the Knicks are a much more dangerous team than they are in this playing 3 games back to back to back with the, Patrick Ewing, who's got, maybe one knee, if that, and I just don't see it happening.
I'd be happy with an 8 seed playing any number 1 seed. I don't know. I'm a Knicks fan. It's a short season. I'd be happy taking Indiana, who you guys beat also. So
Yeah.
I don't know. All the teams, you don't really get a good feel of the NBA. I wanted to get into that. We can get into that right now, because some of these players, like Sean Kemp, is still 30 pounds overweight, whereas Tim Hardaway has been working out like a dog, and he's ready. And Sean Kemp, who can be a much more dominant player in Cleveland, can be a very dangerous team. But until these guys get going, get in shape.
Well, there's no chemistry. Even I don't know. Look at all the trades that have gone on. Even the Pistons, they got 4 of the players they had from last year. Look at the Bulls. Who are the Bulls had? The Bulls don't have anyone. Yeah, exactly.
Who?
How do you
I think they're rated 10th. I think they're 10th in the AP poll.
Tom Riley was talking about it. He said, maybe they thought Brent Barry's be the next Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that.
Yeah, basically.
The only thing he's got is his father's last name.
No one's got any chemistry yet because, as you say, no one worked out in the off season.
They really had.
And then you had a week of throwing together.
You don't think Philadelphia's winning the Eastern Conference?
Seeing they are still 3-0, they do have the best chance at this point in time.
Philadelphia win the Eastern Conference. Let's get. They start a criminal at point guard. They start.
Whoa! Criminal? What did he do? He beat someone, with a bottle when he was 16? Yeah. How bad is that nowadays? Let's look at
John
it.
Thompson. Did he have to be bailed out of jail to go to college or something?
Wait, I just want to say one thing. Has anyone noticed Georgetown does have a commit from a white recruit? I just want to point it out. Made Sports Center News. They're watching this, I'll tell you.
What about our Maryland recruit, Tamir?
The Jew?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wanted to come
Are
to
they
Michigan.
changing the schedule or
No.
What are they doing?
No.
Wanted to come to Michigan. Michigan was one of his top choices. He said there's a big Orthodox community. Brian Ellerby said that he would not, it cannot
accommodate
happen.
him.
I don't understand how Maryland.
But they did a Sports Center story how the University of Maryland said, hey, if we have a Saturday afternoon game, we'll play at 9 o'clock at night. We'll play it after the sun goes down. I don't care.
No. Maryland said if it does come up as a conflict of interest,
Which of course it will.
which it will, if it comes up as they will support him and have him not play. Which, I
No,
understand.
but they also tried to change the schedule.
But, like everyone's saying, it's very hard to change the schedule.
You
These
can't
teams
just
plan
change the
years
schedule
in
for
advance.
next year.
No, but what I'm saying is what you can do is it's very rare that you have basketball games on Friday nights.
Yeah.
Very rare. They usually play middle of the week and then on the weekend. If they have a Saturday game at 3 p.m., they can play that game at 7 p.m. and it really is not going to throw up the... What is Chrysler Arena?
We're talking about national audience
Yeah,
now.
they're not,
TV, it was 1 o'clock on a Saturday when it's college basketball.
You can play 1 o'clock on a Sunday. You could pick it up also.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they
You
can't
can't
just
change that.
change
I
it,
think the problem
1 year in
comes.
advance.
I think the problem comes if Maryland, who is a very strong team this year, goes to the NCAA tournament and they have to play Thursday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday. Either Friday or Saturday, there's a conflict, and the NCAA said that they're going to do everything they can.
No.
But they can't predict if your team's going to win.
I have not heard of the accommodation coming from the NCAA. I've
No.
heard of the accommodation coming from Maryland.
But if you look at both the accommodations, they're like, we'll do our best you can. We'll do the best they can.
But
they can't change the schedule. The schedule's locked.
But there was something this
He's
year
either
that
playing that
there would
night
only
or
been
he's
2
not playing.
conflicts had he been on Maryland this year.
Yeah.
There would only been 2 conflicts. So, 2 conflicts, I'm sure they can work something out. And is this guy that good? And yeah, I understand, but where's his competition?
White
Right.
Jewish boys, hey.
No, but listen.
White Jewish
But listen,
boys
this is
don't
the
go for
difference.
basketball players
This
in
is the
country.
difference. When he goes to a small prep school like that in the middle of Maryland, which is a very religious school, they're not playing Friday night games in front of big crowds, I promise you.
No.
And the competition is probably not the same as, I'm from Jersey. We had guys like Roderick Rose and Bobby Hurley come out. These guys play against Tim Thomas and Stephon Marbury. All these people are playing against each other every day. And Wojciechowski, the competition in high school is very different than other places. And he might be that good, but is there someone
Wait.
to talk about this much?
I come from school from Long Island.
No,
Not exactly a basketball powerhouse.
Well, Wally Zerbiak,
Wally Zerbiak, so I'm about to throw out. He played against my high school, My friends were on that team.
Wally
There's a
Zerbiak
guy-
was picked as a mid-season All-American.
Dick Vitale said this is going to be a guy who's going to play in the NBA. He's that good.
A lottery pick
Kevin Fritz.
Hey,
our
Kevin
executive
Fritz is his
producer,
agent. is going to be
knows
his
him
agent.
well, but, Fritz apparently knows a lot of people well.
Yeah, but he has. I watched the ESPN story on him too. He comes from a small school. That school's only got one sport,
Yeah.
basketball. Okay, so right, you're either playing it or you aren't. But basically, I think that they do get in. I believe it's in Baltimore. It is, and they played some of the public schools there. some of the inner city schools. So I think they're
I
getting
mean,
that.
Baltimore has
rough
some of
and
the
tough
top
competition.
basketball, some of the top high school basketball in the country.
Right.
There's some schools in Baltimore that are, have bred some great NBA players.
Right,
I mean,
and I think
where's Lewis
that's-
Falk from?
I think that's one of
Oh,
them.
right outside of Baltimore.
Right. Shall we? You want to continue to talk about the NBA?
Yeah, I think there are some things about the NBA that I'd like to touch on. I think there's a lot of things going on that are a little crazy. You have these, every night seems to be a big game. You have the Lakers playing the Spurs, Lakers, Rockets, all these teams that are the
Well, the
next
Lakers
to
are
second.
the toughest schedule. They play the Rockets, and then the Jazz, and then the Spurs.
No, they played a tough TV schedule. I think TNT is broadcasting something like 15 of their 30 TV games that
Oh,
could
yeah?
go national. I mean, LA is going to be a front runner just because everyone in the country is going to be watching LA. I mean, you got to look at why is it a big schedule? Every team that's played 3 games in a row now has lost the back end of those 3 games. And these are young teams. Detroit, Grant Hill could not even shoot the ball in the fourth
Who had
quarter.
46 in the middle game.
Had 46 in the middle. But I mean, if you saw him shoot
Still
that
came up
one,
with 30 in the last 32.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had 30 points because he was just driving on will and making
Right.
free throws.
Yeah.
I think
Basically,
that
you
I think it's gonna hurt the NBA. The fact that
Yeah.
a guy like Grant Hill's numbers, he's going to be a 35% shooter this season because he's going to shoot 50% in the first 2 games and then 17% in the
Yeah.
third game.
You could. I watched all 3 games. He looked phenomenal first game, unbelievable. Second, the best I've ever seen him.
Well, the
And
best
then-
game he's ever
Yeah.
had.
Then he looked good starting off in the game, and then it just slowly. The whole team, like on the first 2 games, everyone's running back and forth. High-powered offense. Everyone's running around. They got a lot of emotion, and then they come in the next
But
day.
look at
and
Barkley.
They're like walking zombies.
Look at Barkley. He had 19 rebounds the first night, then he had 18 rebounds the second night. Next thing he's having surgery. These guys,
having surgery.
these
He's
guys,
expected to suit up.
he's expected to suit up.
Wrong analysis from Jason Grandin on that one. Charles Barkley with a slight tear of the medial meniscus in his knee or whatever it was.
And his
Yeah,
lower
who
back.
needs a medial meniscus?
Who needs
anyways?
one of those? These guys have more plastic in their bodies and they know how to do it. But getting back to that, I want to talk about Atlanta. They played New Jersey, home and home, and then played a third team, in the third game of the series. Everyone's talking about the percentages.
The Bulls.
They shot 19% in the first half, but they shot 40% in the second half of that third game.
Yeah, what does that figure? It figures
these
a
guys-
cool 29.5%.
29.5%, but, and here's the but, here's where statistics lie and liars use statistics. Everyone's going to throw out that 19 number, but these guys are professional basketball players. They play basketball for a living. Am I going to feel bad?
Right.
They have to play 2 hours, 3 days in a
Right.
row?
That's
No.
what you have to look at. Is these guys, if they're not playing, they're practicing. Either
Yeah,
way.
I mean, like,
So
But,
they're on the
but,
court
but look
six-
at, but,
they're on the
this-
court 6 or
but
7 days
from
a
a
week.
spectator's perspective,
I'm loving it.
for the Lakers
You're
Spurs
loving it because you
game,
get to watch your team all
Exactly.
the
the
time.
Lakers Spurs game, which should be one of the highest scoring games in all the NBA. They have, if you look at the scores on the court there, the score is 80-75. They're setting crazy records for
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
futility,
whoa, let's go
and
ahead
I don't
with
want to watch an 80-75 basketball game. I'd rather see a 107 to 102 basketball game.
But now you're talking about, and Reggie White used to always complain about this. Why is it when you have a low-scoring game, you talk about how, it's not a good game? What about great defense?
Look at
I-
Cleveland.
I
Cleveland
agree
always
with
led the
you.
league
I
in
agree with you.
defense, and no one, they're
The
boring
Pat
games
Riley
to watch.
Knicks, that was their forte, great defense.
Great defense.
But guess what? Like, it's
They
not
don't have a good offense usually.
this
I mean,
this Lakers
Lakers
Spurs
team
game.
is not
This
yeah.
Lakers Spurs game was not because of great defense.
Well, no, actually it was. David Robinson and Tim Duncan were clogging the middle. A lot of three-point shooting going on, a lot
Yeah.
of missing.
But if
you got Kobe Bryant, who, thinks he's God's gift to the world.
It's playing well this season.
No.
20
You know what the
points,
problem is with the
10
LA
rebounds.
Lakers?
That's good.
The LA Lakers are phenomenal first, and second, and third quarter team. You get to the fourth quarter,
They don't
against
know who to
Utah,
go
you
to.
got Shaq, who shot 0 for 6 from the field and 0 for 3 from the line in the fourth quarter. Not going to help your team. Then you got Kobe, so you're like, all right, we'll give it to our second All-Star. He's shooting all over the court. God only knows what the play was called. He's shooting no matter what. So, they got 2 star players. They get them in the fourth quarter, and they don't have the leadership. They're just-
But listen to
And
this.
that's it, too.
But listen to this.
A lot more than 2.
I don't know
Right,
if
but
these
those
rumors are
Those are
true.
the biggest guys that they're going to go to.
But I don't
down
know
the
if these
stretch
rumors are
at the
true.
end,
But
and can't
they're
hit.
thinking about trading Eldon Campbell
Yeah.
and Eddie Jones to Charlotte for Glenn Rice.
And what happened? Wait, and they were willing to. Who stopped that trade?
Probably Charlotte.
No, Charlotte wanted it. Glenn Rice, when LA talked to him, Glenn Rice said, I want more money and I want to make sure I'm getting my shots in the game. They said no. And even more importantly, where's Dennis Rodman going?
Nowhere. No one cares. No one's
Oh,
gonna pay
let
him.
me tell you, someone's
A
gonna
lot of
pick him
people
up.
care.
My personal call, Dave Checketts, I know you're not watching this show. Dave Checketts, come on. Let's fire Jeff Van Gundy. You're 0-2. Call Phil Jackson. Tell me you're going to bring in Dennis Rodman and give Phil Jackson that job.
Well, the one thing, the one thing about the Knicks,
And why don't they ask for Michael Jordan? Call him up too.
one thing about the Knicks,
Play golf? Why
one
don't
thing
you
about
go
the
home and
Knicks
play?
is they miss Charles Oakley.
Of
And,
course.
and did Charles Oakley score 24 points
Can
a
I
game?
get? Where's John Starks too? They miss him
No,
too.
not missing John Starks.
Yes, they are.
Marcus Camby. Guy plays
He played
no minutes.
3 minutes.
Guy plays no minutes against Orlando. 3 minutes against Miami. Comes to the bench and asks to be taken out because he's too tired. Can you picture that what Charles Oakley is doing in Toronto, saying this is who they gave up for me? He turned over in his New York grave with that one.
Yeah.
Marcus Camby, this is a guy who's the number 2 pick in the draft. 4 blocks his game last
He
year.
doesn't play. I don't understand. I was watching the highlights, and I was like, well, how about a Marcus Camby block at a crucial moment? Isn't this why they made a trade for him? And I looked at the box score the next morning, 3 minutes,
0 for 2.
0 for 2.
0 for 2 from the line.
And then maybe a foul or two thrown in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Why isn't he playing?
He's going to be the guy who gets to pick up the time with Sprewell going down. He's going to work his way back into the 8-man rotation now. And this is a guy who has his make or break in the next 2.5 weeks. Because if
He's got to prove himself while
if he doesn't
Sprewell's not
start
here.
these 2.5 weeks, Van Gundy's going to put him on Siberia at the end of that.
But I have no problem with Marcus Camby getting minutes. He's proven himself to be an excellent defensive player in this league. I have no problem.
Putting him on the bench, though.
Larry Johnson's not a big enough player to start.
Larry Johnson's having an all-star season right now. Larry Johnson,
He's played 2 games.
following those 2 games, he's
Charles
dominating-
Barkley's having an all-star.
He's dominating the boards. He's looking good. Larry Johnson took off about 25 pounds of pure muscle right now and looks great. Actually was able to dunk a basketball. Not often that you see Larry Johnson dunk
Not
a
since he was his
basketball.
grandmama.
Exactly.
But
So,
you know, you have Ward in Houston. You have Sprewell's not going to get the minutes. So you can slide Larry Johnson over to the 3. Now you have Camby at the 4 for the
Can
next
we
3 weeks.
Talk about the Knicks a little more, please.
So now you have Camby at the 4 for the next 3
if
weeks.
If our co-host, other co-hosts was here, we were talking about the Nets right
I'll be
now.
more than happy to talk about the Nets as well.
Nets are a fine team, but
They're just a boring team.
Pistons are going to come out of the East.
Problem with the Nets
Yeah,
right
they're
now.
gonna come out of the East.
Problem with the
They'll be
Nets right now is their 8-man
No.
rotation is in the
Oh.
hospital. But
Yeah.
but let's look at a team like the 76ers. Do you think someone like Matt Geiger is enough in the middle
He's got
to
They're
be
3-0.
enough? Okay,
He's picking up
fine.
garbage all
But
over
they're
the place.
3-0. Okay, Denver Nuggets were 3-0 at one point last season, or they were 2-0.
think that's
I mean,
true. They gotta be.
They only won 3 games all season.
no, they won 11,
11.
and they lost 52 in a row at one point. No, I don't understand, because I don't think that Matt Geiger and Larry Hughes and Allen Iverson can be a core,
You got it.
and
You
Tim
got
Tom
it.
with
You
it.
got
Tim
it.
Tom-
Big bad
Theo
Theo
Ratliff. I don't think that
top
that's
5 in blocks.
I don't think that
in
that's
the
a
league.
team that can carry.
Why, Matt Geiger's making more than probably David Robinson right now.
I don't know
Yeah,
why. Why?
No, Geiger's not playing.
Why? Why? He's no good.
He's picking up garbage.
Okay, how many times did you say that time? What the hell is picking up garbage?
He's picking. He's
That's
got
your
no
third
move.
time.
Because he's got no move. I watched the game last night.
He's
got-
7'1", he doesn't need a move, he can dunk the ball.
He doesn't even dunk the ball. He's picking up the loose ball and throwing it in the air and getting it to go down. He's playing some crappy minutes. I don't think he got some good. You put him up against a big center. Detroit didn't bring in a big center. You bring in a big 7-foot guy.
That's the one thing you mentioned before. The one thing good about the NBA right now is the fact that you're trying the highlights every night, and there's 15 games or 10 games every night. You don't have to worry about that Thursday night where they're all home eating dinner with their wives. You get basketball every night. You get a lot more basketball. It might not be quality basketball, but you get a lot more.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see.
I'll tell you what annoyed
That's
me
fun
this
to see.
weekend. I sit down, I'm looking for my Saturday, Sunday doubleheader.
On NBC?
On NBC. The Knicks are playing Miami. And what happens? Detroit bumps them. What's up with Detroit bumping
You're in a
them?
local market.
you're in a
I
local
know.
market.
It's a fantastic
Man,
team.
there are
The
more
Knicks-
New Yorkers here than there are
The Knicks
Detroiters
lost
in this
anyways.
school.
The Knicks lost anyways. Who cares? Who wants
If
to
I
watch
was
a
watching,
losing
they
team?
wouldn't have lost.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
They needed their fan.
Pistons
their
are
fan
a
supporting
fantastic
Michigan.
team.
What do you think about Scottie Pippen in Houston? He
could
hasn't
run
been.
it one thing at the
He hasn't been
time.
stellar.
Yeah,
He hasn't.
then-
In the
I'll put
interview, he was
Kevin-
running around saying, "I want to prove myself."
Yeah.
He's not even the go-to player on his team. He shouldn't think he
that
is.
team needs Kevin Johnson. I mean, they're playing Matt Maloney and some other.
Matt
bum in the back.
Maloney's hurt.
Oh, Matt Maloney's at Sacramento. Sacramento, there's another good team.
Can I get a Chris Webber sighting,
Can we?
please?
No, Chris Webber's having a great game.
Chris Webber?
He was
Quadruple,
out there so
double,
fast.
double.
No, he came just short of having.
No,
Oh,
yeah.
one short
Chris
second.
Webber might be right now statistically the best player in the NBA. He's playing
Can we
unbelievably.
talk about that ESPN interview that they broke over the week? Come on! If I'm the
Are you happy
Gary
here?
Saint- if I'm
No,
Gary
I
Saint-
am not.
But I'll
You
do
could
the best
bring
I
my-
can while
you
I'm
could
here.
bring my mother here to make me dinner every night. It still wouldn't be home. Come on!
He's just not happy.
How many years do you have left on his contract?
A few.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking 2. I don't think
I was
this is
thinking,
his
no, I
last
don't think
year.
this is
I
last
think,
year.
I think it is.
No, it's
I-
definitely not his last.
But
Definitely got
the
time.
one thing that Sacramento does have to their advantage, if this is his last year, or if not, he's going to go out and play the. He's going to go out and have an unbelievable
Oh, yeah.
season,
Right.
irregardless of whether he likes it there. He's a man on a mission.
Oh, he
You
is.
wonder where he was earlier in his career, because this is a guy who, when playing with Juwan Howard, which ended up being a bad experience for
Yeah,
him,
which is very funny.
Which is very odd.
Hey, someone had to drive home drunk that night.
No,
You know, Chris
no.
was stoned and
In all
John-
seriousness, they were a great duo in college ball, and
and they were best
never
friends.
Even pulled it together.
And he was so excited when Juwan came there. There was that big deal. The Heat thought they had him, and he was the first person to say, "We're going to go out. I want Juwan Howard on my team. We're going to play together." They had a couple games, and they started arguing with each other. You wonder where Chris Webber earlier in his career was. Now he's a little bit older. That timeout still might have scarred him, but he's now he's a man on a mission. He's going to have an unbelievable season this year.
Okay, as we're wrapping up the show, NCAA picks. Who you got? Who's your
Final
who's your
four.
Final 4.
And
Final four.
player of the year.
Well, you got to give a heads up to basically the Final Four are now. Duke, I'm letting the Spartans slide in there. Probably UConn, and then you know what? The NCAA, there's no killer. Look at Auburn. I mean, Auburn's up there.
Auburn's number 3 in the country, but they're no good.
They
22 and
lost
1.
one game.
22-1. Okay, but let's go. Is that your final 4?
Yeah,
Player of the year.
Player of the year. You know what? I don't really see anyone.
Okay, stratum offense. You slip the thigh's hurting here. We're skipping you.
Who do you got? Nobody? I got Richie Hamilton from Connecticut. He's got to be the player of the year. They lost their only game when he was on the bench. Final 4, you got to have UConn Duke in there, assuming they're not in the same bracket. You got to have, I think a team like Maryland could sneak in there. They have some exciting players.
Well,
Francis.
They got smoked by
whatever his name is. They lost him for the year.
Today they lost him for the year?
He's gone.
Steve Francis is an exciting player. I think that there's going to be a sleeper in there. It's going to a team from the middle of the pack, maybe a Purdue or a Syracuse type team. I don't see another powerhouse team other than Duke. I just think Duke and Connecticut are that far
Can we
superior
get
than
some
everybody else in
Spartan
the country.
recognition, please?
Okay, I'm with you. I like the Spartans playing well. Auburn, they are doing well. Duke and North Carolina, I think they're sneaking
North
in.
Carolina.
I think North Carolina's going to
Yeah, they're
Watch
awesome,
out for them.
Watch out.
Thank you very much. Excellent show. We'd like to thank David Silver sneaking in a little late. We hear there's parking available outside South Quad. So
Little Mile High salute to all you out there.
let's give you a mile high
Jeremy
salute.
Hazen, hope you get a job and enjoy your
And that's
future
Talking
tomorrow.
Sports for this week. Thank you very much.